Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to another edition of Your Missoula. Today, we're going to visit with John Knight. He's Executive Director of Humanities Montana. Welcome, John. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for
preparing this wonderful set of questions and answers we're going to go through. And we also have the ability to show the website, humanitiesmontana.org, and Scott's going to do that off and on when we talk, just to give the viewers a break from our countenances.
It's wonderful.
So, you dutifully prepared questions, and the first one is, give us the 101 orientation to Humanities Montana. What does your organization do across Montana?
Yes, that's great. So Humanities Montana is the state council for the humanities. We've been around for 54 years. Each state and territory in the United States has a humanities council. So we're Montana's Humanities Council, funded in part by the National Endowment for the Humanities through congressional appropriations. So what we do, what we've done historically, is make grants and provide programs across the state of Montana to communities big and small.
And a number of these programs involve the Speakers Bureau. Yep. Are we getting to that? Am I jumping ahead?
We can jump there if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it.
That's something that struck me as really wonderful about Humanities Montana, was maintaining a Speakers Bureau of people that had expertise, knowledge, and passion in various areas. And then Humanities Montana, we give these little micro grants to small communities that may have, for instance, their cultural focus of the town would be the library or the brewery or whatever was, you know, and that very little seed money from Humanities Montana will make it happen from the Speakers Bureau.
That's right. Well, you know, and I used to tell librarians and museum workers, let Humanities Montana come in and provide your programs with our 70 program speakers that we had. Our Speakers Bureau is currently on pause at the moment. In April of last year, our federal grant was terminated, and so we had to pause and cancel some programs. In June of last year, the grant was brought back online, was reinstated, just at 20%. So most of our programs and grants are still on pause at the moment. But as we head into 2026, I'm pleased to share that we're going to bring back a mini Speakers Bureau with some support from the Montana 250 Commission. So we're going to step back into providing speakers programs across the state.
And when you said Montana 250, did I hear a federal constitution in the distance, or what is that? Yeah,
so we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and so there is a Montana 250 Commission. Each state has a commission for the celebration of the 250th. We've been awarded some partial funding from the Montana 250 to bring back this Speakers Bureau. So we're going to have 10 speakers talking about civics, American democracy, Montana history and culture, and indigenous knowledge keeping.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, did I allow you to say everything? Like, you know, for the mission and the vision.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, we serve all Montanans. Doesn't matter if you're from Circle, Montana or Missoula, Montana, our programs and grants are available to all Montanans. We want to have statewide distribution of our programs and grants. Yeah.
And I really like this idea of humanities, such as and not limited to history, literature, and philosophy, to nurture memory, imagination, and ideas.
Well, and you know, I think so much of what makes Montana Montana is our culture and our history and our literature. And Montanans, they want to engage in that conversation. They want to learn together. And what we love at Humanities Montana is bringing communities together to talk about that local poet or talk about that history of that community and really get folks out and engaged with each other.
Yeah. Oh, that is wonderful. I remember, for instance, years ago, doing Humanities Montana collaboration in Fort Benton at their Carnegie Library there. And boy, you know, other than the hotel, that's what's happening in Fort Benton. Yeah, and so Humanities Montana's been around since 1972.
That's correct, yeah.
Something. All right, so your question 2 is, can you say more about what it looks like to participate in humanities program. What are the public humanities?
Yeah, well, we like to say that we provide public humanities programs and grants. So programs that are engaged with the community, that are not just set in an academic setting or academically inclined. And so a lot of times, take our Speakers Bureau, for example, we'll work with an author or a historian, and we will take them to that rural library, that rural Carnegie library, and they'll give a public presentation about whatever their topic might be. So we want our programs and grants to be publicly engaged, both, again, to academics, but also to the rancher or, the miner in Butte, whoever that might be. We want the public to be there, working class, working Montanans,
Let's see, is this an example? Well, like of stuff that happened in the past, like the Browning Book Club had the biggest turnout, access to all
Well, so,
options.
right now we have a program that's continued on, started in August of this past year, called One Book Montana, and it's working with our Great Reads from Great Places authors. Every year we make a selection, a youth and adult selection, Great Reads from Great Places, that we take to the National Book Festival. And so, for example, last year it was Chris Lattre's Becoming Little Shell as our adult title that we took. And One Book Montana basically organizes a statewide read across Montana.
Of the same title?
Of the same title.
Oh, yeah.
We provide book club kits to different book clubs across the state, run through the libraries. And we just ask that groups gather and read that title and share experiences together.
I think that's really fun. Because we love celebrity.
Yes.
As a nation, and it's a very big nation, and it's a very big state. So Humanities Montana, boy, you guys really have your work cut out for you in miles and miles. But sometimes, like football teams and basketball teams, sports and celebrities, which mostly means like Hollywood, stuff like that, and music. But it's nice to make a book, a celebrity. So you could talk about the weather, you could talk about sports, but if everyone is talking about like this one book, it's a nice change of pace.
Yes, it is,
It's probably not for everyone, but neither is anything for everyone. So something is coming up, a collaborative event, February 23rd at Flathead Valley Community College in Kalispell.
Yes, and that's around our One Book Montana read, as I just mentioned, and that will be specifically for Chris's book.
So, and Chris did a reading here in the library we have a recording of, and it is so good and got so many views. And I'd recommend that to you, dear viewer, out there on MCAT's YouTube channel. We have over 12,000 videos. It's crazy. Scott's cooking something up. He's typing away. Did you show him the website, Scott? So he showed people at home the website and all this stuff. But we're ready to turn the page.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, wow. Miles City participation in Anne Frank exhibit. Teens trained as docents to share the story. That's pretty cool.
So we do have a program that relates to called the Democracy Project, generously funded by the Charles Engelhard Foundation and the Llewellyn Foundation. In that program, we work with librarians across the state. It's been here at the Missoula Public Library before. We basically asked that question with librarians: how can we bring teens back to the library? We saw after the pandemic that engagement, those numbers went down. Using the framework of the Democracy Project, we want to bring teens back to libraries across Montana and have them be engaged civically. And so we have a structure with the Democracy Project where teens gather with their librarians. We grant some stipends to those libraries, and the teens carry out a project over 9 months. And it can be wide-ranging. It can be anything from a voter registration drive in their community to at Bozeman High School Library. They worked for years on a natural nature garden, native plants garden for mental health outside the school, raising over $50,000 to get that garden going. And so big and small, we love ideas. We just ask that teens gather and work through those structures, those civic structures, to carry out those programs.
Fun. Yes, when they were here, they participated in a program where the mayor would come over monthly and then they would come and ask questions, and see the concerns other people had, and then have that exchange, where they could see, people gather, they question their leadership, they get answers, they do stuff, and it was really a kind of, uplifting version of democracy.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, with that framing, Humanities Montana is a nonpartisan organization. So we, with our programs like Democracy Project, we allow teens kind of within that framework. We're the nonpartisan organization, but we want teens to find issues that are near and dear to them. We don't manage what those are. Those teens come up with those issues, and they carry out a project around that. And that's how we can say we're nonpartisan, but political issues that are important to you, you choose and you carry out, and we give you the civic framework to talk about those ideas within the context of your library.
I gotcha. So. MCAT's in the same position. Insofar as we're a 501(c), we're not supposed to be advocating any kind of political point of view, blah, blah, blah. But we host so many political points of view, and we do a lot of forums, whether it's city council, county commissioners, school board, and so on. So there is a new Montana Poet Laureate?
There is a new Montana Poet Laureate, Alan Morris Jones out of Bozeman. I'm happy to announce that he is also on our Speakers Bureau. His program was available starting last week. So his program can be booked across the state of Montana. Starting now through the next 2 years.
So I'd encourage people watching to remember that website you've been shown, humanitiesmontana.org. And Alan Morris Jones, the Poet Laureate for the state this year, is living in Bozeman, but would do programs across the state.
Speakers programs across the state. The Poet Laureate program, the Poet Laureate is appointed by the governor's office in collaboration with the Montana Arts Council. So they make the appointment, and we collaborate with the Arts Council, where we host speakers programs in partnership with the Arts Council, and make sure that our Poet Laureates like Chris and now Alan can get on the road and travel the state.
Oh, that's wonderful, too. All right, so we're up to, I don't even know how much time we spent. What exciting new initiatives are coming to Humanities Montana in 2026?
Yeah, well, I spoke about our Montana 250 Commission grant. That mini Speakers Bureau is going to be called Our Montana Voices, and I think it's going to be us taking a step back to bringing back the full Montana Conversations Speakers Bureau in the future. That said, we were just awarded a grant from the Federation of State Humanities Councils in partnership with the Smithsonian Institution to work with the Montana folklorist at the Montana Folk Festival.
Oh, that's so great.
And so we will be passing through some funds to the folklorist program and essentially working on the Folkways tent in Butte this summer. So.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
By the people. I like that.
All of those going-ons that happen in the Montana Folkways, Folk Life tent during the festival will be archived and recorded and sent back to the Smithsonian for their archives.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, here's a very hopeful 4C, possibility of federal funding returning in some capacity.
Well, I'll mention that last week the Senate approved a minibus that has money attached to the Department of Interior, where we get our funding through the National Endowment for the Humanities. And that funding is earmarked for the State Humanities Council. So we're hopeful that that federal funding is going to come back online this fiscal year. If so, that means we can start stepping back into making programs and grants. In the meantime, our donors, our private foundation support has been through the walls, amazing, really carried us this past year. We've had a lot of ups and downs with that federal grant initially being terminated. So I'm very hopeful with where we're going. I don't think Humanities Montana is going away. We are lean, we're mean, we are reinventing ourselves right now, but we're going to continue serving Montanans with the public humanities. So I would just say be on the lookout for our new Speakers Bureau. Be on the lookout for events that we're doing in communities across Montana, and we're going to be sharing those out more publicly as we move forward.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. And you did mention those two philanthropic organizations. You got grants, the Charles Engelhard and the Llewellyn Foundation. Yep. And okay, so that's the last question. With the uncertain landscape of federal funding, how and where can folks support the work of Humanities Montana?
Yes, on our website there are plenty of buttons that say donate here, especially on the landing page.
Yeah, the landing page is just like boom.
We want folks to know that they can make a direct impact and allow Humanities Montana not only to go on for the next 50 years, but for the next 100 or 200 years. And their impact now, their donation or gift now, will allow us to step in that direction. Supporters are the reason that we are carrying on through all of this ups and downs with federal funding at the moment. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, John, anything you want to add before we sign off?
I'm just say be on the lookout. We have a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. We're, like I said, we're lean and mean. We're here, but we're going to continue on, and we're going to continue serving Montanans with what we can with the public humanities.
Great.
That's where we're at.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, dear viewer, for sticking it through the end with us. And just a reminder, humanitiesmontana.org. When you go to the website, you can sign up for the newsletter and you can stay au courant on the changing landscape of Humanities Montana. As always, if you know of a group and you'd like to see them on this program, let us know at MCAT. The email is mcat@mcat.org. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching.